Hello, everyone. Welcome to Our St. Paul, Learn with the League. We present these hour-long programs for our community once a month, and we appreciate the White Bear Lake area and Roseville area leagues for their support. Tonight's program on the youth vote features Como High School students supported by the St. Paul League of Women Voters. They'll join their teacher to tell us about a project they did with Dan Crivet to promote civics. I'm Cheryl Bailey, your monitor. We'd also like to thank the St. Paul Neighborhood Network and Suburban Community Channels for broadcasting and taping tonight's program. And you can watch previous programs in a created playlist on our YouTube channel. And it's easiest to find that at LWV space St. Paul. Our program is being recorded, so feel free to type in questions during the presentation. We'll answer as many as we can at the end of the talk. Remember that the Zoom closed caption feature is auto-generated, so there are occasional inaccuracies. Well, the 2024 election is over. Our Secretary of State estimates 76.3% of eligible Minnesota voters cast their ballots. That amounted to more than 3.27 million votes total. We had more than 3,000 polling places in all 87 counties. The numbers of early votes cast was a little lower than the record-setting 2020 election, which was during the pandemic. This year, about 1.2 million votes were cast in Minnesota prior to Election Day. A more pessimistic take of this is that 1 out of 4 registered Minnesotans stayed home. Minnesota has ranked number 1 in voter turnout 9 times in the last 12 presidential elections. We've lost to Maine the other times. And this morning's Minneapolis paper indicated that Wisconsin is hot on our trail this year, but Minnesota is ahead so far. How did the youth demographic fare this election? National estimates are about 42% of Americans, and they define youth as ages 18 through 29. About 42% of them cast ballots in this year's election. It was higher in battleground states, and it was higher in Minnesota, as you're going to find out. This age group accounts for about 14% of all ballots cast nationwide. And there was definitely a gender difference, as was seen in other age groups. Young women voted for Harris by 18 points, and young men voted for Trump by 14 points. Well, tonight we've got 2 student speakers. And I would love to introduce both our seniors at Como High School. Emily Zhang, who's one of the 2 student leaders sponsored by the League of St. Paul. Emily embraced the topic of voting and the personal challenge of this project as new things to learn about. She hopes that this type of civic engagement can help improve quality of life. And next, please also welcome Gaoli Yang, who's a student leader. Gaoli wants to share what she believes in and wants to use civic engagement to ensure her opinion is heard in the United States. Voting for someone with similar values can make a difference in your community and yourself. So welcome the 2 of you. You can put your cameras on if you like. And then we're also honored to have their teacher, Mr. Eric Erickson, who teaches, and get ready for this if you want to take notes, 12th grade AP Government and Politics, AP Econ, 11th grade U.S. History, and AP Psych, all at Como High School. He coaches track and field. He also coaches other St. Paul youth sports. He announces the Cougar soccer, football, and basketball games. He coordinates the intricate field trip for students to travel to Washington, D.C., and that alone, as I can attest as a parent who once quaked in the role of chaperoning overnight trips, that qualifies him for Human of the Year award. Mr. Erickson also writes a column for the Park Bugle and the Midway Como Monitor. And I can't forget to mention that he delivers the Como morning announcements. So, Mr. Erickson, if you want to turn your screen on also, we welcome all 3 of you. Thanks for coming on tonight. Do we have you? There you are. Welcome. If you want to unmute yourselves, maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the things that you participated in. We've got some of the questions there. Maybe start with Emily. We understand that you participated in National Voter Registration Day, and that was it says national, so all the same day for all of the schools in the country did this. Can you tell us what your role was, and was did you get forced by Mr. Erickson? You can tell us. No one will pass it on.
Um, no, I wasn't forced by Mr. Erickson. So he approached it like 6 to 7 of us with the opportunity to work with the League of Women's Voter.
Mhm.
And he told us that what we'll be doing is passing out these registration cards to other Como students during the lunch hours. Initially when he approached it us with me, I felt nervous and scared because that wasn't something I was used to doing. And I think I was close to like just not doing it, but I recognized it I that I was kind of like scared and kind of like feared that doing it, so I just decided to like go for it and see because I know I'll be proud of myself if I did do it. So, yeah, that was my experience with it.
Awesome. Gully, how about you? Were you dragged kicking and screaming into this, or did you sit in Mr. Erickson's room every afternoon and said, "What else can I do with voting? What else? What else can I do?"
So I wasn't that nervous. I wanted to try out like new things. So I just like did as much as I could. I explored a lot of options, and this was like an opportunity that came to me that I found really interesting, and that's why I did it.
Do you think most of the kids registered on their phones just while you were sitting there? You kind of helped them get registered. Is
Yes,
that how
yes,
they
a
did it?
lot. Yeah, a lot. They just like put up their phone and then they filled it up quick and everything. It's pretty
And did you
easy.
try to tell people you have to be 18, or did you go through any of the things, or did you have a list written for you so that they knew if they were eligible to register or not?
Yes, so we actually had like this paper that says like the information on it.
Hmm.
And then that's how they were to find like the requirements and everything for voting.
Mr. Erickson, did you run these ladies through the cafeteria every day, or did other people help too? And what was the how did the school organize the National Registration Day?
This was a focused effort on Constitution Day, which was National Voter Registration Day. And Dan Krivet and Chris Schneiders had asked if they could come in and be part of our effort and outreach. And I asked them if it would be okay if I recruited some student leaders to do the outreach, as opposed to having a couple of adults sitting at a table
Yeah.
and then maybe having a brave student or two go to them. We have found it's more effective to have the students take the information to their friends and peers and classmates and approach them with the opportunity. So Gali and Emily and 5 other students were the experts who had the registration cards, and they dispersed throughout the lunchroom during all 3 lunches on that day. And by our estimates, probably registered close to 100 students during that time.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And then for the students, you guys made a video that we're going to see in a minute or two. Can you tell us how you decided to make a video and how that all went?
Yes, so we were like at first we decided like what we wanted to do for like what parts of the video we wanted to record on ourselves and what we wanted to do together. And we just decided to make a PowerPoint and like explain it in a way and then we just edit it.
Yeah, and we thought doing it a video would be like a quicker and better way to get as much students to watch it. I believe we sent it through the social studies teachers, so the students are more like involved and their teacher are there to monitor them better. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you share it with your families or anyone else, or was this pretty much just for Como High School? You guys are
Well,
laughing. You had to show
well,
your parents, right?
yes, yes. I showed my sister because she goes to the same school as me. So like she knew what was she like was expecting or something.
Yeah. Good. Mr.
Yeah, I
Erickson,
also
did
showed it to my sisters.
Mr. Erickson, did you help them make the video, or was this all their deal?
No, this was student generated at that point. After our voter registration day, Gauli and Emily showed a lot of initiative during that. And at that point, Dan Krivet asked to identify a couple of student leaders to run with this project. It could be of their creation. We've had student leaders do a variety of voter outreach efforts over the past couple of years. And Gauli and Emily had the video idea, and nobody had done that before. And so we encouraged that, and they had a lot of confidence in their technology skills, as they should have. You'll see if we show the video, they're flying around on the screen doing things 10 times faster than us adults. And very confidently put this together on their own and brought it back to us. And we saw very little need for rearrangement or editing, but had a couple of constructive feedback points that they incorporated and made, and ended up with a very informative and I think persuasive video to get people to participate.
And how about feedback from classmates? Did you guys hear from any of the students who had watched in any of the social studies classes?
Yes, so I heard a lot from my friends. They said that the videos are great. A lot of teachers would like tell me that the video was great and everything. That's what I heard.
Same for you, Emily?
Yeah, one of my friends said it was interesting. So yeah, similarly to Kelly.
I wonder if you actually got people to register that you don't even know about. I mean, who weren't on the National Registration Day, but people who saw your videos. I mean, is there any way to know what the impact of your video was? Probably not, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think there's a way where we could like, I guess in a way we can maybe do a survey, but who's to tell like they're not lying or something?
Yeah. Well, then the other
I don't
question
think
we definitely need to know is Mr. Erickson the best teacher at Como?
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the best. I think I started his class like last year for psychology, and it was very concise, and it's like he doesn't give us too much, but like just enough to understand the concepts and to like excel in the tests, and yeah.
And Gauli, it's your job to confirm that he's also the best teacher.
Yes, I confirm he's the best teacher.
Excellent.
Like same thing as Emily. I had him for psych as well, and he's a good teacher.
Excellent. Do either of you have any interest in politics or government? It's way early, but did this make you think I could run for office, I could do election work? I mean, there's all sorts of different kinds of jobs. Did this spur your interest at all in government work, running for office, etc.?
I would say it did interest me and like a lot of policy making,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure if I'm fit for the job, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it'll be just a little stressful for me and stuff.
Emily,
But
did that broaden your horizons at all?
Yeah, prior to this project and taking AP Gov with Mr. Erickson, I didn't really know like what the government was and what they did.
Yeah.
And I had like when politics came up, like that word, I'm like, what is that? But now I know and it does interest me, but I don't know if I'll major in it, but maybe in the future I'll like, I will be like more interested.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that is excellent. If we could watch the video that
Make history,
Oops.
make the future, and vote for your ideas.
I'm worried that that's me doing that. Are you able to see it? There we go. It's about 6 minutes, so we'll sit back and I'll mute myself and we'll watch this video.
Make history, make the future, and vote for your ideals. Minnesota had the highest turnout rate in 2020 of 77.9% of voters in the general election. Of youth of Minnesota, 65% voted in the 2020 presidential election, making it the highest youth turnout rate in the country. And why is this important to you? On October 29th and 30th, your social studies teacher will bring you down to vote for our Como elections. Vote for who you want to win Como Park Senior High School. The presidential elections is happening this year between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Here are the nominees. On the left, we have our federal offices, U.S. senators, and U.S. representative votes, and on the right, we have our own student council office. Do you want to vote in the upcoming 2024 election?
I'm gonna show you how to register to vote and where you can find more information. Go to the mnvotes.gov. Here there are 4 sections. The first section is how you register to vote, and then the second one is where you go to vote. Third is other ways you can vote, which I will be skipping. And the fourth one is what's on your ballot, the candidates that you can choose. So, registering to votes. Pre-registration is now closed. All that means is that you cannot register online for the 2024 election, and you will have to go to the place where you'll be voting to register. What you'll need to bring with you is proof of residence. So that would be an ID of your current name and address, Minnesota driver's license, learner's permit or ID, or if you don't have any of those, then Minnesota school ID. That's the school ID they gave you after your picture date, typically. And it can be an expired one. So if you have one from 2023, you could just bring that one with you. Optionally you can pre-fill in the registration application. So to make the process quicker, you could just pre-fill this and then give it to them, and they'll do whatever they'll be doing to vote and register on voting day. Voting day is November 5th. Where do I vote? To find out where you vote, you have to put your zip code, or you can search by the county. Zip code would be 55117, and then my county would be Ramsey, but we're just gonna do the zip code. And then my house number, my street. After filling that out and clicking go, it will give you an address where the closest, where your polling place is at. So what's on your ballot? Who are you voting for? Who are the candidates? You can find that out by putting in your zip code, searching by county, just like how you did on the other one. It will take you to this page. These are like the candidates that you can choose, you can vote for. President and vice president, representative, district 4, senator. It's the sample ballot. And that's all. If you need help, if you need additional help on where to find this website, how to fill the stuff out, ask one of your teacher, ask your parent, come ask me if you know who I am. It's okay if I don't know who you are, just come ask me. And yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Emily Zhang, a senior at Como Park Senior High. I will be voting in this election. At first, the reason why voting and registering was important to me was because I saw it as a personal challenge. I wanted to know that I could do something new and something that I initially found scary. And now what it all came to mean to me is that civic engagement is it's just a way to say that I want a better quality of life. That honestly, what it just means to me now is that civic engagement, it's just a way to create a better quality of life. And so I hope you come to vote when you're eligible or whenever you are eligible. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gao Li, and I'm a senior at Como Park Senior High School. And I care about civic engagement for a lot of reasons, such as it empowers me to advocate for what my opinion is in the United States. It also allows me to share what I believe in. Although it seems like voting someone from our local county might not change anything, it could change on how our school looks. Voting for someone who stands on your opinion can make a difference on your community and yourself. That's why it's so important to choose the right person to vote for to represent your ideals and mine. Therefore, I care about civic engagement as it affects me and my community. Are you going to be eligible to vote in the 2024 elections? Make your voice heard by voting in the upcoming presidential election. If you are 16 or older, you are eligible to pre-register for future elections. Scan the QR code below and answer questions to pre-register to vote in future elections. Thank you for listening and vote for your future. Make history.
I'm sure the whole place is erupting in applause, you guys. That was fantastic. And I really want to compliment you on showing the ballot. I think that the first time I voted, I had no idea what the ballot was going to look like. And so for an 18-year-old who's never voted, showing that is a fantastic idea. And the second thing I'd like to applaud you for is showing the actual process, just clicking through on the Secretary of State's website and showing exactly what a person would do. It demystifies everything. I'll bet that made things a lot easier for people. Well done, just really well done. I wondered if you could turn on your screen. I see Emily's. Gauli, can you turn on? And I wanted to ask you guys, your teacher told us that you were actual election judges on election day, and I would really love to hear from you both about that. It was a huge day and so busy. How did you get assigned a place? Can you tell people about what the training was like? And maybe Gauli, do you want to start?
Yes, I can start. So, how I got the job was through Mr. Erickson, and my process was a little different because I think they had like a mistake in my email, so I had to like reach out to them so that they could reach out to my real email. And when I got that, they assigned me, like I had the choice to do a close, like election poll place or like a far one, and I chose like close one to my house. And then I could just like go there and do it. Like, does that process kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it. It was very fun.
And Emily, how about you? What did you find? Were you close to home at your polling place?
Yeah, they were very accommodating. It was like about like 10 minute away from my home, so yeah. And I got to like try out different positions, like
Mm-hmm.
reading the voters and signing them on in a poll pad. All the training were online. There was an option to go in real person to try out the poll pad. And yeah, it was very fun because I got to try like different stuff and like meet people. Yeah.
And did you vote that day or did you vote early?
I voted earlier. I think I voted at Arlington. It took me like 2 hours and 30 minutes to get it done with. Yeah.
But because you didn't know that where you'd be assigned, you wouldn't necessarily be able to vote on election day because you were going to be an election judge. And
Yeah.
can you tell the audience what time of the day you started?
For the election day,
Yeah.
yeah. I got there around 5 a.m. and I was there for the whole day. So 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah.
And
Around there.
Gauli?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I started at 5. I went at 5 and then left at around like 9:30.
And what potions did you take to get your bodies to a place on election day at the age of 18? Because I have a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. And so how do I get that potion?
Um, I'm not really sure. Like, I just knew I had to wake up early and I don't know, I just wake up.
You set your phone and you just got there.
Yes.
Did your election judges, did you have a head judge who helped you guys read the oath and swear to uphold the law and help people get voting?
Yeah, she was very
Mhm.
nice. She made sure that we were able to try different positions. And yeah, she was a like yeah, she let us know that she was available to help if we needed anything. So yeah, I felt assured and yeah.
And can you tell people that this is a paid position? I think a lot of people think it's all volunteer, but you get paid for training and you get paid for doing that. Was that a helpful part of this to make it worth your while, do you think?
Yeah. That along with the experience very really pushed me to want to do it.
Yeah, excellent.
I think that's the potion, Cheryl. I think that's the potion that helped them
Cash.
get up at 5 a.m. Yes. Cash
Cash is
money.
the potion. I've got a ton of questions, so here we go. Oh, how did you decide? Kind of the main thing, how did you guys decide what to put in your video? I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about with voting and with registering. How did you do it, and how did you keep yourself nonpartisan without trying to persuade people what they should be voting for, who they should vote for?
So for our outline, we kind of went off on what Dan and Chris put in the email. They, they were very clear about what they wanted, like what they thought would be good for us to put in the video. So I think mainly we went off on that and added some stuff that we thought we needed, like the tutorial and the editing. Yeah.
Do you look back and think there are other things you should have added now that you went through elections and
I think we could have, I think I would like refilm some certain parts and like make it more clear. That's what I would definitely do. And I'm not really sure what else I would have added. Maybe just a little bit more convincing, like for them to vote and something.
I have said I've got a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, and I'm very involved in elections, and I was an election judge, and I'm not getting the impression from my sons or from their friends that this is a big topic for them. They're just not super interested, and I wondered, it's different to be in high school and be a first-time voter, but do you have any thoughts on what your peers would like to hear, or things maybe you're not hearing that just make it not super interesting to people your age, or has anything like that occurred to you?
Like, I think we're just like, we as youth just don't think like it's important. And we don't really know like the effects of everything that like happens when like the whole polling process and stuff. Like, we don't really get that voting is actually very important and it can change like our lives in a way. So maybe just like bring up the awareness of to the youth, like using internet and like media.
Me, I think the since it's like a new experience and it's something big, that might be like why most youth don't go vote. And that's why I think it's important for schools to do mock elections, like how Mr. Erickson did it in other schools. I think that'll get more students used to seeing what an election is and how it can affect them. Yeah.
Emily, you just made the perfect segue into what we wanted to talk about of that mock election that you guys did. Can you talk the viewers through what that was like in October? So you had registration day in September. That was a national event, and then you had mock voting at your high school. Tell us about that.
So the mock election, it's very similar to the election. The students will come down from their classroom. Since we don't have like a sign-in thing, it's just based on like the teacher's class. So we run through like what's on the ballot and how they can mark it. And then we direct them to their polling area where they vote. They said they put it in the ballot box. We give them a sticker. Yeah, yeah.
How did you make the ballots? Because you had a real voting machine from the league. We loaned a voting machine to the school. How did you get ballots? Were they did they look like an actual ballot, or were they just pieces of paper?
They look like it's a piece of paper with like ballot, and it does look like the actual ballot. I think Mr. Erickson would be able to explain it more, but yeah, it was similar.
You
Well,
want
you
to talk
saw the
about that?
ballot in the video. They had the actual ballot that our students received. They were voting for 3 federal offices, the left-hand side of the real ballot, and then we had our student council election on the right-hand side of the ballot. And so that was a binding election, the student council election, and then the federal offices were the results were reported back to the Secretary of State's office. I just copied the ballot, the sample ballot onto a piece of paper and then made a little grid for the student council election and made it onto a 8.5 by 11 paper that every student received if they came through the line with their teacher. And we ended up with 700 votes cast in the school-wide mock election.
That is amazing. What do you think Como has? Somewhere over 1,000 kids?
On a given day in school, because we have a lot of students that are PSEO,
Yeah,
where
in
some of their
college
day
year.
is outside of the regular high school norm, and then just regular absences and stuff. We probably have about 1,000 students there on a day. So we didn't capture all, but I guess we're at a 70% voting rate.
I challenge any Wisconsin high school to catch up to you there. Mr. Erickson, can you talk to us a little bit about what it's like to teach civics and government to high school students?
They're a captive audience. They're college bound. They are voting age, especially in this AP government class of seniors. And in an election year, they are paying attention. So as I think Amelie and Gauli said, they weren't completely confident about their political knowledge, but it's there. They're all capable of critical thinking, and they all can react to events happening in our society, and they have opinions. And it's a matter of engaging them and making them think about what they believe. And so we start the year with a political survey and we get some feedback. And what Como Park students quickly realize is that they live in a little bit of a liberal bubble. They live in a bit of a cocoon where most of the people in their classroom and their school think like them. There are other places right now, I think it would be quite challenging to balance out intense competing views about the political spectrum and the candidates in the presidential election. I teach it from a nonpartisan perspective. I often have to play devil's advocate and bring up arguments or perspectives from a position different than my students. And the idea there is, of course, to make them think and to make them analyze their own positions and refine their stances on the issues a little bit more clearly. It's fun. I like to see students engaged, involved. I love seeing a class of freshmen come down to the auditorium and be scared to death of talking to my seniors to get a ballot, and then be treated warmly and kindly and respectfully, and then get into the voting booth and feel that power of making their choice. And that's the best thing we can do for all of our students, is just give them confidence that they can be participants and be involved in our political system. Give them that practice so that they're not afraid to be involved when they are of voting age.
One of the tenets of the League of Women Voters is that voting is a habit, and
Yeah.
we feel really strongly that getting people started the very first time you're eligible to vote makes it just something that you do. Oh, it's voting day, I vote. I vote on election day. And so what the league also wants to do is remove barriers to voting and try and figure out what things keep people from voting. And for some, it's language. For some, it's just physically hard to walk a long distance or over, gymnasium floors or open heavy doors. A lot of these polling places are churches and they're in basements, and they're all supposed to be accessible, but sometimes it's really an effort. So people can vote from the curbside. They can drive in and we can bring things out to them. So the league tries to educate about that too. Did you guys have anyone who needed to use the touch printer during election day, or did you have anyone who did curbside voting? It was that rainy day. We only had one person who did curbside who had just had surgery.
For the curbside, I'm not sure because it was, I don't think it was somewhere in view because the parking lot, there wasn't like a parking lot at the door, near the door.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then for the touch screen, I don't think nobody used it. I don't think they knew what it was. And so, yeah.
How about you, Gully? Did you notice anyone?
I think I think we had one person use it, but I'm not sure. They're like, cause I think he had just broken his like his right arm, I think, and they were like trying to figure out if he could use it or not. And I
Yeah.
wasn't really like, I didn't really know if he for sure used it or not.
It
Does
can
that
work
make
for
sense?
people who can't see very well because you can use headphones and the ballot is read to you. People who are vision impaired can then mark their own ballot and know that it's them doing it. It's really empowering. Um, so those are the things that we care about with the league, and having you guys do a video like you did. I hope that it's got some way that people can check the link. Do you know if it's on the Como High School website, or is there a way that other people can get access to your video, do you think? Will you be able to use it next year, Mr. Erickson, if people want to see similar projects?
Well, certainly, we certainly could. Um, I think that I think there was a question that came up in your chat. Somebody asked if they shared it out. We shared it out in school to every social studies teacher, so
Okay.
that each teacher had it and was showing it in front of the class. So that was our dissemination within the building. I don't know if you shared it out via any social media or anywhere, Galilee or Emily, or not so much. No? Don't be surprised if your video is shown next year to educate some other students, though, at Como.
Do you think now that you guys did election judging and that you did this project that you'll be lifetime voters? I mean, does it just feel like something that now you're just going to do this?
Yeah, I would definitely say I would do it now. Like I would every year, go vote and see like my options.
Yeah. Having voted, I would want to go vote again with a more like conviction of knowing what I'm doing and who I'm voting for. Yeah.
What do you think about getting your peers interested in voting? And what's important about voting is not just scribbling the putting the ink dot next to the name, but researching your vote and knowing who you're voting for and why. Do you have any advice for people who are interested in politics on how to make that more interesting so that young people will do their research and vote?
I'm not
Like,
really
how do you
sure.
get your information? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not
Well,
getting, I think you don't get a subscription to the St. Paul Pioneer Press, do you? Does it come to your door every morning and you read the paper before you go to Como High School? No, right?
no, I
So
think
how'd
like
you find out about the candidates and how do your peers find out, do you think?
a lot of people find it out from like just the media, like especially on TikTok and on Instagram. That's where most teens like get their information. And I think that's like the best way to target an audience of like youth and stuff.
Okay, but is it like the presidential candidate doing a dance to the like
Yeah, so like
Beyonce, or what's the TikTok info? Is it actual real
yeah,
info?
I think it's half half. Like some of them it's real, some of them is half like fake. And it's hard to choose between like which one's real or fake. And like I don't know, a lot of people just like will believe it's right sometimes. It depends on like the person. And like these TikToks just like will show like a lot of information saying that voting is coming near. You should like be aware of your options and stuff. That's what I get from it.
So you saw TikTok like influencers encouraging you to vote, but did you see anything on TikTok from the candidates? Did you see news clippings of interviews or of rallies or things like is that what you also see on TikTok, or is it just people who you follow saying you should vote?
So a lot of the time it can be shown through like their rallies and stuff. It can be shown through like in TikToks, but it depends on like how you like your feed and what is like coming to your like your media.
Hmm. How about you, Emily?
Apart from YouTube, I don't really go on social media. So I initially got interested in most of my information from Mr. Erickson's class.
Hmm.
Yeah, and just watching YouTube videos of the rallies and short clips. That's how I mainly got my information. And I also went through the candidates' websites for some of the candidates, and that gave me like more of an idea of what, yeah.
Have you ever heard that the league does candidate forums? We interview all the people who are running for local office. So it could be city council, or it could be um, school board, or all those local things. And so they're all asked to come on one night, and they all get asked the same questions. So those are things that are on YouTube too. Um, do you have any ideas about how we could get students to look at YouTube videos like that? Because then you're really comparing candidate to candidate to candidate, real time, seeing how they react to things, and they're all asked exactly the same thing. You have any opinion on that? Not so
I would
much.
say no, I would say that like if it was like if a teacher assigned it, they would definitely do it. So it's like we'll have to like kind of force them in a way to like see it through like schools and stuff. I think that'll be the best way.
Yeah. What do you think about the combination at your mock election where you did half that, was not going to count, was for the presidential stuff and the Senate, and half was the student council? Do you feel like that made it real for students, like they could see that this is literally my vote just counted, or was it confusing? What do you think about that?
I think it made it real for them because at the end we found out who our student council was and like our president and vice president. I think it like kind of made them realize that like my vote actually matters and like anything I want to do, I could do it, you know?
What do you think about volunteering with political candidates? Have you guys ever thought about being in behind the scenes in campaigns? Did it make you interested in politics, or did it just make you interested in sort of civic engagement, or kind of both? Or
I think it made me more interested in civic engagement, not so much politically. I think, yeah, I just want myself more involved in like the civic, you know?
Mhm.
Same with me. It's mostly the civic engagement.
Yeah, just voting and not necessarily wanting to get in the weeds with any particular political person. I wonder, for Mr. Erickson, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your trip to Washington. It wasn't this summer, was it? Was it last year?
We go every spring. So February 23rd to 28th this year, we'll have 20 students from AP government class traveling to Washington, D.C. for a week of immersive political exposure and experience. So we'll have visits to all the monuments, memorials, and museums. We'll go to Capitol Hill. We'll have meetings with our senator, with both of our senators and our congresswoman. We'll see congressional committee meetings. We'll go to the Supreme Court. We will be going to Arlington National. We'll go to the African American Smithsonian Museum. We'll be busy and also engaging in civil discourse with students from other communities. So it's part of the National Close-Up program. And Close-Up brings together students from a variety of states in the same setting for a week. And they'll be in small groups of 20, 25 students with a variety of states represented. And they'll work through some political issues, do a mock Congress, have debate and discussion, and see Washington through that lens of diverse group of students for 3 days. and then I will be leading them for 3 days of our activities, including our Capitol Hill Day. So this has
Wow.
been this would be the 18th time that I've taken students, and it is incredibly valuable and impactful and powerful, and absolutely opens up our students' eyes to the rest of the country. It's a big country with a lot of different opinions, and Washington, D.C. is the centerpiece where our federal government operates, and they come away energized. If you listen to Emily and Gali right now, they're pretty fired up to make a difference in their communities and to be active participants. And that same energy comes back with us from DC and carries them into college with a lot of anticipation of how to make a difference as well.
How do the students select themselves, or do they have to apply?
It's our class field trip. So all of the AP government students are eligible to participate. No one will be denied because of finances. We have some incredibly generous donors that make it possible for me to provide scholarships to students. And we also do a ton of fundraising. So the combination of that fundraising and the scholarship support makes it possible for everybody to be there who wants to be there. And not everybody does. Not everybody does want to take on this risk, because we're not going to relax. We're going to go. And fortunately, I have this year, I have 20 students that are actively working towards making it happen. And they'll be bagging groceries at Cub Foods this Saturday at Lexington and Larpenteur from 10 to 6. So
put that $5 bill in the
that's right.
Pocket, ladies
That's right.
and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Please, by the end, we're going to definitely want to put in the comments so that people can see how listeners can support that trip, because I think that would be something that League viewers would be pretty interested in. Where do you stay? How do you find the hotel accommodations, and what do you take mass transit for everything? And
yeah, Close Up is a wonderful organization. They have the structure in place for the hotel lodging. So we work with them, through them, to get our accommodations. For anybody who's been to DC and is curious, we stay in the Crystal City neighborhood of Arlington. It's right on a metro line, and so that we can take the metro into all of our sites and all of our visits.
how about do you bus out there, or do you
fly?
You fly?
Yep. And so
Well,
Close Up will arrange our travel out of MSP to DC.
Okay. And people are asking, Emily and Gauli, are you going to go, or is this not your class? Or
I'm going, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I am too.
excellent.
Hmm.
Well, we'd love to hear back from you on how the class was. We've got 10 minutes left, and so we would like to know one last question about if you guys saw any gender difference in your classmates. Were boys more interested, girls more interested? No way to tell. Nothing that was significant for you. Did you notice any differences?
I don't think I did. I think that both were pretty even, I think, in my perspective at least.
Emily, same for you? Nothing real remarkable?
Yeah.
And then somebody wondered what your favorite branch of government was. Did you learn anything about, like, are you going to run for president, Senate, House of Representatives? Are you going to be a judge and sit on the Supreme Court? Like, what branch struck you as most fun? Maybe we have to ask you after your February trip.
I think being a judge will be fun. Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah. I'm the same with Gali, because before I thought I wanted to like go into law as a lawyer, and a judge would be like, it's pretty close. So
Cool. Well,
They may require a law degree to be a judge.
I'm afraid so. Do we dare ask, do you guys have any plans after high school? Have you thought that through or not? No, don't know yet.
Yes, I have thought it through. Like I was either gonna become a lawyer or go in the medical field or and be a doctor. I'm not sure yet.
And Emily, do you have some ideas?
Um, the major I'm looking for right now is accounting. I want to go into business. I'll be trying for the Edge scholarship with travelers. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think we can go on to our next slide, and we will start to wrap things up. It was just a great, great pleasure to have you guys with us. Um, Thanks to Emily Zhang and Gaoli Yang, both seniors at Como High School. The future is yours. You can expect to hear a lot of praise in the coming months as you prepare for graduation. We admire you, we support you, and we urge you to run just a great last semester of your high school experience. And we would all like to be invited. If you have grad parties, just let us know where we can come. And kudos to Mr. Eric Erickson for his effective teaching, endless energy, and dedication to the civics and knowledge of his students in his school. And we certainly appreciate our viewers. We hope you enjoyed the evening and leave absolutely inspired by a wonderful teacher and two young people in our community who thought of a project to promote civics and completed their vision for us all to enjoy. And then if you could get your cameras out from your phones, you might want to take a picture of this slide. These are next year's presentations that we have planned, at least up till May. And we're thinking about more in-person programs. We would love feedback on that if people think they'd like to show up in person on Tuesday evenings at 7. And we just really hope that these topics are of interest to you and relevant to your lives. And Gaoli and Emily, we would love you to log on, register for these programs and see what you think. So Tuesday, November 5th was a giant of an election day. And we just want you all to take a breath, all you voters, all you election judges. Nothing to put on the schedule now except for some fun at our annual luncheon on Saturday, December 7th at Holman's Table. The invitation came to anyone who's on our email list from the League. And if you can't find that, look on our League of Women Voters St. Paul website. And please get registered because it's going to be fabulous and we've only got a limited amount of seating. Betty Folliard is going to be our speaker. She is just a marvel of Minnesota politics. And she'll tell us about life as a woman in the House of Representatives in the late 1990s. She also worked for Keith Ellison in the 2000s and will tell us about that. And then she works now with the ERA and we'll have a presentation on that. We'll have a pasta bar, we'll have salad, veggies, the all-important cash bar. You ladies are not allowed to participate in our cash bar, but we'd love you to bring a friend, hop onto our website right after this program to register because we will have to firm up our numbers pretty soon. Just our completion slides. We're fully committed to being nonpartisan. We want to educate the public on candidates as well as promote reliable and secure elections for our country. For more than 100 years, the League studies issues, takes positions, and we take actions. We would love you to check out our website. Membership in the League of Women Voters St. Paul is always something that we would welcome you to do. We'd love you to give us a try. And again, we give gratitude to the Roseville and White Bear Lake Leagues for their support tonight. If I could just give a shout out to Roseville, they have a program on the judiciary on Sunday, January 12th at the Maplewood Library. I think it's usually 1 or 2 p.m. Maplewood Library, January 12th on a Sunday, and that is going to be on the judiciary. And then they had a really excellent 3-person panel on journalism this past Sunday, just 2 days ago, at the Roseville Library. And that should be on their YouTube website very soon. That would be worth watching. And also thanks to SCC TV and the SPNN for broadcasting our program. We just hope you have a wonderful evening. And remember to hug a high school student in your life. Support our local public schools, please. Promote these programs to your friends and relations. And Mr. Erickson, can they call Como High School? Is there any way that people can give a donation aside from having to shop at Cub this weekend?
You can always email me, and that is on Como Park High School's website. You can find my email, or it's eric.erickson@spps.org.
Thank you so much. I hope that you get a couple of bucks from the St. Paul League. We'll close up now, but a brief survey will pop up right after you log off. We read all your responses. We're always looking to improve, and we will assume that you'll have great feedback for our 2 students and our teacher. Thank you all so much for your help and for your efforts and for joining us tonight. It was really enjoyable. Everyone have a good night.